What is going on, you beautiful ladies and gentlemen?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Bonji Business Booklet. Last video, we went over what prospecting was, how to be effective in your prospecting, and the benefits in doing so. This video, we're going to be talking about the cold contact and why you need to know about the cold contact. It's the first impression when you reach out to a potential customer or potential client. And you want to show really two critical components in the cold calling. Brian, do you have any ideas of what those two components you want to portray to the potential customer is?
I would say share some excitement with the product that you're calling them about. You want to, no one wants to do business with someone that doesn't believe in the product that they're selling. And also, you want to, when you're in the cold contact, one thing you really want to get done is get the information that's necessary for you to go in there and, make an impact, whether it be, how much they're willing to spend, what products they're interested in, etc.
Yeah, so the two things you have to be conscious of when you're cold calling or cold emailing is that you want to show that you're really confident in the product, very brief, you can get to the point in just one or two sentences. And the second thing is you're professional and easy to do business with. So those are the two things. You're professional and you're really confident in the business. And part of being professional is that you're in and you're out. You're really easy to do business with. People have business owners, business operators, people making decisions. They're really stressed out. They have a lot of work to take care of. Don't take too much of their time. And if you're conscious of their time, whenever you call or whenever you reach out to them, email them, they'll give you a minute of their time. Anyone will give you a minute. If you're a rambler, like we ramble on these videos, they're not going to answer your phone because they're like, I'm going to be on the phone with this guy for 25 minutes, an hour. He's going to waste my time. He's not going to listen to my problems. I'm just not going to get into it. Right? So those are the two things when you're crafting your cold email contact.
So the first thing is get to the point, which, my thing, what I personally like to do is I like to kind of create some curiosity, create some, mystique around what's going on when I'm calling these people. I'll call the whether it be the owner of the restaurant, I'll call up the restaurant and say, hey, I'd like to bring you a free sample today. And without any context, but they know, oh, this is someone that wants to be a potential vendor to me, and they want to bring me something, they want to bring me a sample and it's going to be free. Okay, that sounds cool. What is it? Then it allows me to do my quick little in and out. Oh, I'm an acai manufacturer in New Jersey. I'd like to be there. I'm in the area on Wednesday. Is it okay if I come in and bring you a sample?
Yeah. So getting to the point is really critical. So whether you're emailing or you're calling, you have to get to the point as quickly as possible. People don't have time for you, right? So get to the point. What do you have? And then that leads into the second point. What do you have? And then remove the risks for the other person. So if you notice, Brian skipped over. He just said, hey, I have a sample for you. I want to bring it into you. It's free. Right? So the risks of, samples, right? Well, what do I have to pay for the samples? Right? Well, how much time is it going to be? Right? Hey, can I just drop off a sample? It's going to be free and it's going to be delicious. Right? So now you get three things out of that, right? You get something delicious to eat, whether you put it on your menu or you use our product, it's still delicious. You could still consume it, enjoy it yourself, right? It's not going to cost you any money and it's not going to take you any time. So so you have to get in the head of whoever you're contacting and understand why would they tell you to go kick rocks? And so those in one sentence, Brian showed he was confident, he was easy to deal with because if you say, hey, I'm busy, he'll say, okay, no problem, I'll call back another time or whatever, talk to you later, right? So he just wants to get in, get out, and he's removing all of the risks from a potential customer of ours, right? So you have to understand, whoever you're going and visiting, what are the risks that are associated with competitors or other people in your industry? Why are they annoyed when they answer from a quote unquote solicitor? So say, hey, it's a free quote, free estimate, no charge, right? If that happens to be a challenge in your industry. if you're like a tech, if you're selling a tech software, a lot of those software companies will say it's a free trial, but just put your credit card on file for us. And then after the 14-day trial, they start billing you. So say no credit cards required, I'll give you the free trial, right? There's certain ways around, so you have to really understand your industry and what your potential customers, your customers are dealing with as far as things that annoy them and things that they perceive as risks, and then address them in your pitch.
Yeah, and sometimes when we're talking to, in our industry, we call a restaurant, and some employee, maybe a high school kid that really has no idea, and they don't want to step on the owner's toes, they don't know if they should be accepting a sample or not. Providing the fact that it's free and that you'll be in and out and that it tastes really good, they're like, what's my owner going to say? I didn't spend any money or do anything else. So it allows them to feel comfortable enough, removes the fear from saying, I don't know if my customers, if my boss or owner's okay with that. That removes that fear from them. And then even if you're on the phone with the owner and they're gonna have fears as well. They've probably dealt with vendors and salespeople that are a little slimy that are trying to cut corners. But if you provide that as a free sample and you just want to go in and talk for 30 seconds, then you provide them someone that's looking out for the business and wants to just offer them a product that might be of interest to them.
So let's just retrace our steps real quick. So the first one, get to the point as quick as possible. Should be one sentence, maybe 2 sentences max. When I'm cold calling, I don't even tell them my name until I get past that awkward stage of getting my foot in the proverbial door. The second one, remove the risks from the person. This could be money, it could be time, and it could be your knowledge or expertise in the field. They don't want to waste their time with some bozos, right? Third step to be conscious of is be complimentary. Now, people don't want to be sold as just another number, another dollar sign. They want to be respected and appreciated. And so this goes back to the prospecting stage, the first stage. As you're prospecting and developing your potential leads, take like just a 3-word note. They do brunch well. They have a good-looking burrito called the Fat Mama. They have a good-looking protein shake called the Green Machine, right?
They just opened up a third location, or they've been in business for 5 years, whatever it might be. Say congratulations.
And that short thing, you have to remember, the cold calling is just building credibility and building rapport with your customers. So this is a really big one. After you get to the point and after you remove the risk, which is another way of building credibility, right? You're professional, you're conscious, you have a high sense of awareness. Then you build you are complimentary, also showing awareness. What are your thoughts on that one?
Definitely. I think this goes for all industries. If you're trying to be a marketing agency and you're trying to call product-based companies for their services, be genuinely interested in the products that they're selling.
Right.
No one wants to have their products marketed by an agency that could care less about whatever you are selling.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And that, to your point, it's a way to sell. I took some time to invest in you as a potential customer. I see where we could potentially provide value. Can we talk a little more about this, right? About our product or service. We're going to go to the last one, number 4 in the cold contact, right? And it's really simple, but as critical as possible. Because even if you do these 3 things, you're just in the early stages of the sales cycle and of closing a lead, right? So the 4th step within the cold contact is end with a question, right? Because you have to parlay it into the next phase, right? Which is the meetup, right? So you could, you go through the step, you get to the point, you remove the risk, you're complimentary. Now they're in a good position. Now you say, hey, can we meet up next week? Hey, can we hop on a Zoom call and I could walk you through the service that we have or the technology that we have? And it's just like talking to someone at a bar, right? That you're attracted to. you're constantly asking them questions, ultimately leading to the question of, can I see you again? Can I take you out to dinner or to drinks, right? So it's the same thing with the cold contact. Hey, I don't know you, but can I meet you in person and show you our product in person, walk you through it?
No, so the end with the question is super important. You want to gear your sale to the person that you're selling to. You can probably get, if you do a little scan of the person that you're the potential customer, you probably get an idea, but asking them a direct question definitely helps out a lot. We have a couple different product lines and a couple different things that suit different customers. So getting a little bit more knowledge about that definitely helps. I think if you're, maybe in landscaping, ask the person, hey, is your property on a flooding zone, whatever, and they say yeah. Be like, okay, great. We have, we have a bunch of services that can help with, limit the flooding, whatever it might be.
Right.
Can kind of personalize it a little bit more. You kind of go in with a little bit more of a plan.
Right, and depending on how much of a veteran you are in the industry, probably the less questions you'll have to answer. But it requires, if you're new to the space or new to the industry, you should be asking questions that are giving you cues to, hey, which company do you use currently? Okay, if you use this company, you're buying based off price. If you use this company, you're buying based off of quality. If you're using this company, it's based off of service, right, or availability. And you're ending with a question to ultimately meet in person, which is where more questions will come. But we talk about it, and our analogy in our company, Bonji Foods, is we have to go to the mountaintop with the customers, right? And we start at the base of the mountain. Every question we ask, every conversation we have is we should get a little bit more information.
I would stay away from, more personal questions that you could ask when you are face to face. Say you are, going back to the social media marketing agency or whatever. You want to call them and say, what's your marketing budget? And ask them, super specific questions like that first of all, they probably don't have that off the top of their head. Second of all, they're like, I haven't even met this guy face to face, and he's already asking me how much money I'm willing to spend.
Sure, right. Yeah, you don't want to be too intrusive, right? And that's why we're short, because we're the opposite of intrusive. We want to let them know up front, hey, I know you might be really swamped and busy right now. I can go and call you back at another time. No harm, no foul to me, right? Yeah. So don't feel bad about telling me to call back some other time, right? So you're giving them that out. You have to give them a back door, right? The question about budget or those things can be uncomfortable, but there's ways around it where it's not uncomfortable for them and it's not uncomfortable for you to ask the question. Here's a creative way to do it. If you say, hey, do you work with a marketing firm? Is it all in-house? Right? Yeah. And then that might tell you something if you're a marketing agency. Okay, we actually work with X company. Oh, X charges $20,000 a month. If they're really high end. Okay, that's good to know.
It's like doing sales is pretty much, it's just talking to people. When you meet a new person, when you meet a stranger for the first time, you don't ask them very personal questions. You ask them service-based questions. You understand, okay, this is someone I want to be talking to. When I see him around, I'll hit him up to hang out for dinner. If I see him at the gym, I'll talk to him for a little bit. And then, as that relationship develops and you get more and more personal, and in business it's a partnership, and in personal life it's a friendship. Yeah. But you don't start off by saying, hey man, what's your income? What's your biggest secret? It's asking people these kinds of questions, and it's the same thing, business relationship or friendship. You should look at it the same way for sales. Ask them get to the point. Say, hey man, you look like someone that would benefit from using my product.
And we're probably missing some nuances, some critical questions, but those are dependent on the industry that you're in, right? But if you have a lawn service landscaping company, right, and you call residential houses, right, or even corporate centers, and say, "Hey, I do landscaping. Can I come in Monday and meet with you and give you, provide you a quote and see if we could provide any value to you?" You're wasting 30. The guy's like, "Yeah, sure," right? You're wasting no time, right? You're not wasting your time. You're not wasting the person you're calling's time, and let them know it's going to be, hey, it's free. We do a really great job. We have some really great customers. And then, if the conversation allows it, if he opens the door and says, "Yeah, bring it on," then you could tell him a little bit about yourself to build credibility before meeting, right?
Yeah.
But go ahead.
While we, while there are nuances to everything, I think a really important thing to know about cold contacts is, if you jump into a new sales position or whatever it might be, don't expect, I think a lot of people expect, I can call this person and I'm going to get their business like that. You're not, it takes time. You have to go meet with them in person. They have to try your product. They have to hear about your services in order for them to say, "Yeah, I want to start doing business with you." So don't be over eager. So to recap our points, get to the point. Be quick with the message. Don't take more than 2 minutes of their time. However, with that being said, if it is the owner and they have some questions for you, be prepared to answer some questions. If sometimes I'll call someone, they'll want to know the origin of our company. They want to test me if I'm an expert on the stuff I'm selling. So be ready for those kinds of things as well. But usually get to the point, be quick and direct. 2, remove the risk from the person. You want to say, "Hey, this is a free sample, this is a free quote," etc. 3, be complimentary. Do some research on that potential customer. They want to feel like they are valued, like they are doing something right, and that you're actually excited to be a partner with them, not just, "I want to add some more money to my revenue." And 4, end with a question. Be brief. Don't ask any super personal questions. This is just to tailor that face-to-face meeting, and get ready for the time where you're gonna drop off that sample, tell them the quote, and try to figure out as much as possible and tailor your sale to them.
And just one last tip before we see you next video, for any of the newbies out there in sales or business development, I would say the biggest tip when you're cold calling, reaching out to potential customers, is to say you don't know when you don't know, right? Because that's the quickest way when people ask questions and they're kind of a little technical and you don't know and you're new to the company or new to the industry. There's 2 ways to go about it. One, you lie and they catch you on the lie and then it's over, right? The potential customers you're forever a liar in their heads, right? Or you could just say, "I don't know, but I'll get the answer back to you." And that does 2 things. One, it builds credibility, right? Because nobody knows everything. So it builds credibility that you're a trustworthy person and you're not going to bullshit them. And 2, it allows you to go back to them, right? And talk to them again, have an additional conversation. "Hey man, I invested in our potential relationship again, and I found the answer for you, and here's the answer," right? So it's a really powerful tool to say, "I don't know."
So we've had countless times where we've gotten a no from someone. 6 months later, they'll come back and say, "Hey, I want to give you guys a shot again. It was a crazy time when you guys came. I didn't really hear you guys out completely." Come back, and then we ended up
all the time
working with them again. So every time, also a huge thing with cold calls too is don't let your emotions get,
it's just a numbers game.
Yeah. So don't let your emotions get the best of you. You're gonna hear no's. You're gonna hear people say not interested, hang up on you. Don't take that personally. People have bad days. People are uninterested. Move on to the next one, and just use these principles. And I think you guys will have great success.
One more point. You have to really believe in the product or service you're selling, and then so when people hang up on you, you kind of trick yourself into saying, they're lost. They're missing out. I know this company. I know the people that make up this company. They're good people. They really care. They try really hard to make good, consistent products. So when you get hung up on or you get cursed at, which doesn't happen often, but it could. You just roll with the punches because you know the company has success and really helps people. So you have to really lean into that and psych yourself up for that, especially in the cold calls, because it can be an uncomfortable situation for people. So with that said, check back in next week for an additional video. It's going to be the meat and the follow-up. Don't forget to subscribe. It means everything to us. We're going up, slowly but surely, but we're going up. I don't know if you're keeping track. We are. See you next week. Thanks, guys.
What is going on, you beautiful ladies and gentlemen?
Breakfast in under 30 seconds. Delicious.